Good evening, everyone. Just to say welcome, first of all, welcome to St Mary's. My name is Tony Boyle, I'm the head teacher. It's my privilege to be the head teacher of St Mary's. And to say welcome to everyone. I know some people are very familiar with St Mary's. They may already be parents here already. They may have older children here already. They may be former students of St Mary's. But for some people, it'll be their very first time. And one of the things we like to think about ourselves and we're proud of is that everyone feels welcome here. So please accept that welcome. I also thank you. I suppose it's a night off from the football for some people at the moment. I'd be a fan myself. But I know it's a very warm evening. And I think part of coming to evenings like this is about commitment. It is about, as parents, wanting to do the best for your child, wanting to make the best possible choice and decision. And this evening that we put on is something in response to something feedback from parents in the past, where they've said that the open evening, which we will still have in September, and sometimes it's been late in September, even early October, some parents have said to us in the past that sometimes it's very late. They'd like more information a bit earlier to help them in terms of thinking through the process of making such a huge decision about the future for their child. And something maybe in the summer term, at least to sort of, not to get things going, but to sort of help them think about it. So that's what tonight is about. Tonight isn't, I'm not going to stand here forever and talk, I promise you, and listen to me. It's a chance for you to find out some more about St Mary's, and some people maybe the first things they find out about St Mary's, but also a chance to speak to our staff this evening, who will be there and be able to tell you about the curriculum and the sort of things that we offer, and you'll be able to ask them questions. When it comes to our open evening in September, it's a slightly different format. You may have been before, which is where basically we'll go anywhere virtually you want within the college. There'll be students doing activities. You'll be able to see how that works in practice and so on. So there are lots of parts of this kind of getting to know St Mary's and getting to decide whether it's the right thing for your child. This is just part of that process. So this evening is first of all in here. I'm going to talk for a little while. One of our students, Hans, is going to share his experience of being a student at St Mary's, one of our sixth formers. And after that, we're going to have the opportunity to go and have some light refreshments, to meet some staff and so on in our what we call our chill and fill area within college. So without too much further ado, I'll sort of give you an outline where it is. So what is it about St Mary's, that in a sense, why St Mary's, what's different about St Mary's? Well, the first thing to say is that, you know, we are very proud of who we are. And we don't talk about other people, we talk about St Mary's and what we have to offer. And I think what we put up there before is capturing some of the images and some of the experiences that we offer our students as being part of that community once they're here within St Mary's. And it's driven really by our mission statement, which is up there, which says to love and serve Christ within us all. And one of the things sometimes is that, you know, what does that mean? How does that work in practice? Because that's kind of a very ambitious statement to make about loving every person, serving every person, and being an inclusive community. And that's the thing that drives us, and the way in which we seek to relate to each other, between staff and students and families and parents, and working together for that goal, really, to bring out the best in everyone. Because that's what we believe our gospel values are about. But sometimes people think that might be an exclusive thing, that, you know, if you don't, in a sense, maybe, you know, if you're not a Catholic, or if you're not, in a sense, fully aware of all those things, that you might feel left out. I think one of the things that we're very conscious of, you know, are very proud of, is how many of our students perhaps come from very different experiences in terms of their faith background and where they're at in terms of their families and so on. But we've never had that feedback at all from parents suggesting that their child ever feels left out as a result of that. They always comment very much about how that statement is lived out in terms of the day-to-day of our college, in terms of the way in which people are treated, the way in which students are looked after and so on. It's about real sense of the real experience of living that, rather than just having it as a statement. So it's something which drives us, which we're very, very, very proud of. And part of that is about the commitment to meeting the needs of the child in every sense. So it isn't just about their academic development, which as a parent I know and you know is incredibly important, because we must position ourselves, put our students in a world which is very competitive, ultimately when they're looking for employment and they're competing with other people. But it's also about the kind of person they are, in terms of the way in which they treat other people, the way in which they value themselves, the way in which they can relate to other people. And I think one of the great things that we offer is that holistic sense of education for young people, that it is about forming a person, not just about a child getting a set of qualifications, which, don't get me wrong, is absolutely vital in terms of the future. But it's not just that, and that's something I think that we're really proud of from that point of view. Many of our students will have been, and students who are here, young people here this evening, will have already been to St Mary's as part of working with our partner schools. And so yesterday we had a fantastic day for our Year 5 students in our partner schools who spent the day with us getting a sense of what it's like to spend a day at St Mary's already. Some of our students have been here in the past. On the same night Wednesday evening we had some high achieving students from our primary schools who've worked with our staff and with our students, and we offer that kind of programme with our partner schools as well. But for some of the people, as I've said before, it may be the very first time of coming to St Mary's, and I hope you have, and please feedback if you don't, that you do feel welcome here, and everyone is welcome in our college. What is it about St Mary's then? Well, St Mary's is an 11 to 18 school, and that thing is important for lots of parents, because one of the things they want is, in a sense, that journey for children. When they come to high school, they want to see, in a sense, where they come and where they might leave. And these days, as you might know as parents, what we call the participation age in education for our young people now, when they come into secondary school, is they must be, that sounds like a punishment, but I promise you it isn't, they must be in education, employment or training until they're 18. They cannot leave school at 16 now and not have a job, or not have training, or not have education to go on to. There has to be a programme in place. And what we believe is, as an 11 to 18 school, that we're able to take the child and the family on that journey from 11 to 18 without that break at 16, if that's the choice that people want. And we get that feedback from our parents, from our families, that they really value that continuity of experience in terms of working with the same staff with the same expectations. We are a mixed school in terms of boys and girls, and that's important, we believe, because actually, in my experience, I went to a single-sex school, and my brothers and sisters, in some cases, went to other schools, and so on. And as a family, in a sense, I was isolated from in many respects, the experience as a child, and in terms of dealing with my school and my expectations, and the school's expectations was quite different. And I think one of the great things about St Mary's is that we work with families, and that's boys and girls in the same family. We're not, in a sense, dividing brothers and sisters and so on. I think that's a really important thing. And we're also an inclusive school, and that is about meeting the needs of every child. We're very proud of what we offer in terms of meeting the abilities of, and realising those abilities of students of all abilities. And again, we don't exclude children because they're not able enough, or in a sense, send them somewhere else because they are more able. We actually meet the needs of all those students, and I'll give you some really strong examples of how we do that. We are a big school. Sometimes people say to me, and I've got friends, and they say, Mr. Boyle, well, they don't call me Mr. Boyle, actually, my friends, they do call me my first name, but they say, how do you cope with a school of 1,600 young people? That must be a nightmare. And I say, no, it's fantastic. Right, it's a privilege. It's a privilege because I work with a team of fantastic people. A school of this size has a staff that reflects that. Okay, and that's a really important thing. And one of the things that used to be a criticism you might have heard some time ago is about a sort of a one-size-fits-all school, that basically every child gets the same deal, the same curriculum, same everything, because that's all schools can offer. And being a very large school, one of the great virtues that we have is that we have a very, very broad curriculum. Particularly as we go up the school, you'll see that opportunity to meet the needs and to what we call personalise the curriculum far more for your child as to what their strengths are, what they'll be good at, what their next steps are in terms of their learning and their journey. And that's one of the virtues of being a big school. And I will come back to some of the issues that you might say, well, that's all well and good, Mr. Boyle, but how do I know that my child is not lost in this huge school? And I will address that issue from that point of view. So the curriculum is incredibly large. Lots of my fellow head teachers are jealous about what we can offer compared to what they can offer. Not because they don't want to offer that, but because we're such a big school that we can do those things. So whether it's the EBAC curriculum, the separate sciences, the modern foreign languages, with all those kind of subjects that sometimes are seen as the exclusive of perhaps grammar schools, we offer all those things. But we've also got the vocational elements where some students are particularly strong in that area. Yes, they do their English and maths, their science and so on, but we can meet those needs as well. And that's one of the things of being a very large school. You might have read in the press, or you might even have seen it on the television if you watch on a Sunday morning. Well, we had a visit just a week last Friday from Vince Cable. And Vince Cable, you know, the young people might not know who he is. Vince Cable is the business secretary, he's on the cabinet and so on. And he came to St Mary's. I got this phone call on a Friday night and it said, you know, can speak to the head teacher, and I said, I'm too busy. Whatever, no, we need to speak to the head teacher and so on. And said, well, you need to speak to this person. So I did. And they said, you know, that someone, a minister, wants to come to St Mary's and your school has been chosen. So it was like, wow, that's an incredible thing. And I asked them why we'd been chosen. And they said they'd done some research about the school, about where it was geographically, because it was linked to the International Business Festival at the Floral Pavilion, but they'd looked on the Wirral and they'd looked in Liverpool at a school that would be suitable to host an event where Vince Cable would come, and he wanted to obviously be seen in the right place, the right people. And when he arrived through the door, obviously they do their research, and you think, you know, I was strange. And he said to me, Mr. Boyle, he said, you know, I've seen from the data, from the information, that this is a school that has improved rapidly in recent years. How have you done that? And I was really proud, first of all, that he recognised that our achievements are significantly better than they were a few years ago. And what I said to him was, and this is what the event was about, it's about being ambitious. It's about being ambitious for our students, right? That we need to create in them that ambition, or if they have that ambition, to sustain and meet that ambition. The title of the event that we had was called Inspiring the Future. These young people are the future, right? Their careers, their ambitions are our futures. And investing in them is critical. And on that day we also had Miriam Gonzalez, and again, I don't know who she was truthfully, but she's actually Nick Clegg's wife. He's the Deputy Prime Minister. She came as well, and she stood in front of our young people, 150 of our girls, and talked about aspiration, about thinking big, dreaming about what you can achieve and aiming for it. And that's what we want for our students. That's what we offer here in terms of those experiences, about thinking about the future, about being ambitious, about setting targets and making sure students realise those targets. That's what we know parents want. And you might say, well, what does that come to at the end? And again, you'll read, possibly in the Globe, but you'll see on our newsletter, you know, for example, and I take one example because that's unfair, there are lots of students who achieve. You know, Roisin Fattorini, who's one of our former students, left 3 years ago, has just graduated from Oxford University with a first-class degree in biological sciences. You know, she came here from when she was 11, she went to one of our partner primary schools. She chose to come here rather than go to a grammar school because her parents believed she would achieve if she came here. They believed in comprehensive education, as I do, and she has done. We've got children doing veterinary science from last year, we've got children doing medicine, we've got children doing students doing dentistry, aeronautical engineering, all those kind of careers. The things that, you know, that are sense gold standard in some respect. But we've also got gold standard other things. We've got students at Jaguar, former students doing high-level apprenticeships. We've got students in other vocational enterprises in terms of apprenticeships and so on. It's about the need for children. We've got over 100 children this year going to university next year, but that means a lot of the children aren't, and they are on the right path as well. And that's what it's about. It's about meeting the needs of a particular child and children of all abilities, and it's about realising those aspirations for them. That is the outcome, I suppose, in lots of ways of our curriculum in terms of what happens in lessons and so on. What happens beyond that, because as I say sometimes to students, wonderful as it is, right, and great lessons are great lessons, I say it to our teachers sometimes, when you ask children, what do you remember at school, they don't always remember the magic lesson. They often remember the trip that they went on, the experience that they had, the place they'd never been to before, the place they never thought they'd go to, and so on. And that's, again, a really, really important part of that holistic sense of education for our young people. So we have, you know, children going to New York, we have children going to Lourdes, we have children going next week to the Black Forest, and so on, home and abroad. And we also have things which talk about entitlement that we give our students, that we believe every child should have wherever we can. We can't afford to pay for every child to go to New York, whatever it is, but we also look at experiences, cultural experiences for all our children that everybody can be part of and included in and so on. And again, if you want to see the detail of all the sort of things that we do, I won't bore you with the list because we've gone all night about the places our students have been, the experiences they've had. Look at our website and read some of the literature. It's fantastic in terms of what opportunities are available and will be available. I come back to something I said a while ago, which was that we're a very large school, and the fear that some parents have, and I understand that particularly if you're coming from a relatively small primary school and you walk around, you won't walk too far tonight, you come on open evening, you'll be tired by the time you walk around and say, oh my gosh, Mr. Boyle, will they get lost? We haven't lost any yet, so if you find a child, let me know. But we haven't lost anyone yet. But one of the things about our students is they find their way around here very quickly, but also that if you ask our students, they will tell you, well, I'm telling you, please ask them when you speak to them, they are well looked after. They are well looked after. We have a large team of people responsible for the welfare of our students. That reflects our size. And if you look at the sort of reports that are written about St Mary's, you will see consistently that that is a great strength of the college, that students are well looked after, that they feed back to us that that is a great strength. Okay? So please be confident in that. And again, if you want to ask our students and parents and so on whether they think that's the case, I know as a parent that you want your child to be safe in school, you want to be happy in school, you want to be successful in school, and we're aware of that as well. And that is a crucial priority for us. If I go back to, I suppose, how do we know? Well, our results will year on year be better. Not every year, we can't be always better and better, but they will be better again this year in many respects. Okay, and that's vital. If I can give you just one experience that, in a sense, I refer to very often, and that was last Friday night. Okay, last Friday night I spent the evening in the Holiday Inn in Liverpool at the Year 13 prom, or leavers do, you might call it, from that point of view. And I spent that evening with lots of our staff who love to spend time with our students, but I spent that evening with young men and young women of whom I could be incredibly proud. People came up to me, or spoke to me, didn't realise I was the head teacher, and said, are you from the school? And I said, yeah. You should be proud of these students in terms of who they are and what they are, the way they speak to each other, the way they're actually engaging with people and so on. And that's the important thing. It's about that whole person. It's about their ability to communicate with people. It's about their ability to behave as young adults. I was really proud to think that as they leave St Mary's, they are the kind of young people, with parents, we have played a part in forming. And that's, in a sense, what we offer. It's that journey from that young child who look this evening and think, oh my gosh, will they ever be like Alistair? And so surely they won't grow that big, but they do, and they go quickly enough. But I also want to think about that kind of young man and woman that they're going to become. And that's what we're proud of, the kind of young men and women with parents we help to form. That's what St Mary's offers. Alistair, I'm going to pass you over to you, and you can tell about your time at St Mary's. Thank
you. I'm Alistair. I've been at St Mary's since I was in Year 7. There's actually a picture of me down here, you probably can't see it, but Mr. Boyle was talking about Germany, that's where I come from, and now this big and this ugly. So I'm in Year 12, I've just done my AS level in maths, physics, history and politics. So I'm looking on to go to university next year to start applying either about a week ago. I've been told I have to tell you what I got on my GCSEs. I don't want to, but I got 8 A stars and 2 A's. I've been asked to talk about kind of my journey through St Mary's, so I was looking at, look back at Year 7, where did we start? We in Year 7, it's a bit, you do a lot of things, but the main kind of focus of PSE is towards your future. What's going to happen after you finish in St Mary's? It may seem a long time away, but you do need to start that early. So it's not massive, just little bits. And then every year, I think there's 4 progress weeks throughout the year, in which you have a meeting with your form tutor who will discuss what you've done in your in your lessons, how you're getting on, how you can improve, how you can become better and reach your full potential. Then in year 9, there's a careers fair that every child goes to. That's in the sports orchard there. And in that, there's lots of different opportunities for people to look at the paths that you can take. So there's employers there, universities. The sixth form were there because when I was in year 9, we could leave at 16 and go to other places. So that was year 9. In Key Stage 4, it becomes more sort of formal guidance and more focused on what is going to happen in a few years' time when you are able to leave St Mary's. So there's lots of CV writing in PSE. I think we spent about 4 or 5 weeks doing that, making sure that we knew we were ready to go out into the world of work. And that culminated in a meeting with every child, had a meeting with a senior member of staff like Mr Boyle and Mr Brown who sat at the back. And in that they discussed with you what you're going to do after St Mary's, your experience, so they get feedback that actually you do enjoy your time here. So that's a bit about kind of year 7 to year 11. And the extracurricular stuff that I've been asked to talk a lot about it's massive. There is so much that you can do. There's PE that way, D&V, music, science, everything. I was, for example, in year 7 playing a lot of sport. I was on the football team, rugby team, did quite a bit of that. That was quite fun. I'm quite enjoying music now, it's a lot. So down there pretty much every night. And there is, every member of staff is ready to help you. It doesn't matter where they are, they will come and make sure that you have the chance to do stuff that you want. The D&V through the youth club, that is amazing. It's a chance to go off and do it's 3 levels, so there's bronze, silver, gold. Quite a few people will know this, but you get that looks really good on a CV, and the school have now, it used to be run by the council, it's now offered by the school because it's that valuable. This year I've had so many opportunities to do lots of things. So I've been bombarded by Mrs Jones, who's head of 6th form at the back. Bombarded with chances to do lots of different things. As a result, I've ended up, over the summer, I haven't got summer really. I'm spending 2 weeks on summer schools, one of which is at Oxford. So I get the chance to spend a week learning what it will be, seeing what it would be like to be studying at university and at Oxford, doing law, which is one of the things I'm considering doing. Then there's another summer school called the Southern Trust. You may have heard of them. It's a charity. They provide free chance for people from all walks of life to try summer schools and universities. So I'm spending a week shadowing a second-year law student to see what their experience of university is like. I've been also accepted onto the Nuffield Research Programme, at which you spend 4 weeks doing a university standard research project, which you then present in a formal paper, about 15 pages long. And that can be anywhere from Liverpool University, there's the Jaguar Land Rover do them, Unilever, there's all sorts of things you can do. That's a really good opportunity because it looks really good. That's just kind of what I've been offered. There's loads of other things that you can do. I know one of my friends was in the under-19s team that came second in the UK at the trampoline league. That was offered through school. What else is there? There's different summer schools. If you want to go on to like veterinary medicine, there's all sorts of days that are focused towards sort of each career path. 2 weeks ago we spent the day at Liverpool University doing a higher education fair, where there was over 150 different universities and you could go around and literally come home with a bag full of prospectuses. So you could look at where you want to go. And that's a great opportunity because quite a lot of people haven't got a clue. I still don't know what I want to do, never mind where I want to go. So it's a great chance to do that kind of thing. One of the main kind of bits of year 12 is the work experience that we have at the end of it. I'm currently on that, so I spent first week, I've been in the Citizens Advice Bureau in Liverpool, so helping out with different clients, seeing loads of different people. next week at the Employment Tribunal and again in Liverpool, where you can do all sorts. I've got friends down in London, New York, Manchester, there's all sorts of things you can do in that. It's a great opportunity to see what working is actually like. At school you don't often experience that. It's a lot different. Final thing that I want to say, no matter where you end up, just take every opportunity that's given to you. It doesn't matter what it is. It may seem a bit stupid, but eventually it will be fun. So that's all I want to do. Thank you.
Thanks, Alison. I couldn't have done that when I was 16, 17, I promise you. People sometimes say you always stand up in front of people. I didn't do that as I'm much older. So it's a really brave thing, Alison, and I really thank you, for doing that, and obviously giving a real sense of lots of things that are available at our college. And I thank you for listening. It's incredibly warm in here, and you've been really patient, and the young people have been fantastic in terms of their willingness to listen, and that's a great tribute to you as parents as well. So we're going to go from here, hopefully some cool as well as hot refreshments. If you turn through the door and turn right through here, there are staff who will explain about different parts of the curriculum. Thank you for coming.